Hi everyone, my name is Zadie and I did a phylogenetic classification of a set of Nilo-Saharan languages, and unfortunately I could not be here, and no, I am not a ghost, and I basically just had to drive 26 hours back to San Diego, so I hope you enjoy the rest of this video and you get some great info out of it. Alright, so we're going to look at some of the background information. The background information is going to include some of the Nilo-Sahara and then more specifically Kadu. Then we're going to look at the goals for this project and the data. The data was the one that I worked with and specifically collected, and then we'll also get to look at some of the tree diagrams, which leads us to our analysis. So there are basically 4 language families in Africa. Now we're just going to be focused on the yellow part that's on the map, which is the Nilo-Sahara area. Now just in that space, we have approximately 200 languages spoken, and about 46 million people live there. Alright, so some background information on the Kadu group. Now, part of my data does come from the Kadu language family. So now if we look on the map, you can see in that red circle, that really small area right there is Kadu. Now that little area holds over 120,000 speakers just for this language family. So some of the goals for this project were to propose a new phylogenetic classification of the Nilo-Saharan languages. Now I also added some Kordofania languages that are spoken in the same area in order to better analyze the Kadu language family. We will also propose an analysis based on the results. So I basically collected my data from PDFs and linguistic websites. Now my database is basically 23 languages. Half of it is Kadu and the other half is Kordofania. And then we have about 100 words belonging to the basic vocabulary. So in this picture, you're going to get a brief glimpse of the data set and what I was working with. Now you can see the color coding that I did in order to find the cognacy judgment. You can also see how it's formatted. So basically on the left-hand side, writing down, you have the languages, and then across the top, you have the words. Alright, so basically how I encoded my data was I first started out doing a cognacy judgment for all the words. Once I got done with that, I then did a color code for all the cognate sets that I found. Once that was finished, then I was able to do the multi-state encoding, which you'll see in the next slide. This is very similar to the picture you saw before, but this one has the multi-state encoding rather than the words. Now the color is still there in order to make it easier to do the multi-state encoding, but now we can take all the numbers and question marks and put them into our program in order to create our trees. Alright, so we're going to look at 2 different types of trees, the neighbor net and the neighbor joining trees. Now we've seen these in class and we've kind of used them before, and we're going to use it now for an analysis between not only between the 2 language families, Kadu and Kordofania, but between the individual languages within those groups. Alright, so looking at the tree, we can basically see that the Kadu language family, they are very similar. Now, there are some branchings that show more relatedness to others within that group. Now, if we look at the Kordofania, we can also see a big group within those, except for this outlier, Tumtum. So now we're going to look at the neighbor joining tree, which we can still see a very big break between the Kadu group and the Kordofania, and then we still have this outlier, Tumtum, which shows more relatedness to the Kordofania group. So based on the trees, we have seen that Kordofania and Kadu are 2 separate language families, except for Tumtum. Tumtum is part of Kadu, but it shares a lot of similarities with Kordofania. So this leads us to believe that maybe Tumtum broke off from Kordofania, which then broke off into the Kadu language family. Alright, so that's the end of my presentation. I hope you guys all enjoyed and have a great winter break.